With decades of service to student athletes at Boise High School and beyond, Dave worked tirelessly as a coach, meet director, sport advocate, and champion for runners everywhere.
Dave has done more than anyone I can ever think of for the sport of cross country and track. He's just been a leader, and I definitely feel he deserves this award.
I think he's always gained the respect of everybody who's in the track and field program in cross country. His knowledge of the sport, he's the kind of professional that doesn't just do the surface things about coaching and working with kids. He dives deep and he does his research, clinics, always looking to perfect his trade of coaching and his impact with working with kids.
The advice that I give a young teacher, coach, and I give coaches is relax, let it happen. You're here because you want to be here. You care about kids. And don't let the naysayers and the people that get at you get you down. You know, take a deep breath sometimes before you react, and enjoy the ride. There are so many special memories. One of them is getting to see my daughter up on the podium when our team got second in state one year in cross country, and she was a member of the team. That was really important to me. The other memory was my son stepping off the bus in 29 Palms when he came home from Iraq. And for me, those two moments are the moments that I'll have in my brain all my life, the rest of my life. To see my daughter so overcome with joy that she got to be there, and to see my son getting to hold his son just after he stepped off that bus.
Dave and I worked several years down at Boise High School, and he was instrumental in our track and field programs, as well as the cross-country programs. And my first impression was that he was a consummate professional. Hours and hours of time spent with kids. And not only would I see him on the field and in the hallways of our school, but I'd also see him out there on his bicycle, cycling right along with the kids as they're practicing their cross-country up and down the streets of Boise High School. I just felt that as we worked through our years together, that those programs were in good hands because of his leadership and his professionalism and his knowledge of the sport. And of course that resulted in a lot of state championships for Boise High School.
There's going to be a lot of people that are going to come in and out of your life that are going to be positive, and there's going to be a lot of people that come in and out of your life that are going to be negative. Don't let the negatives get you down, and don't let the positives blow you up too much. You know, be you, and if you're you, that will come through with your students and with your athletes. The reward that I got when they had success at whatever it was, whether it was jumping rope or juggling scarves or running fast or jumping high, that was my reward. And that's the thing that was most satisfying to me. I'm sorry I get choked up, but I just think about all those thousands of children that I worked with over the 34 years at Boise High or with the Boise schools. And every one of them, when they got success, I felt I was part of that. And to see the smiles and to see the sense of accomplishment and then the sense of confidence that came on them that they carried through a lot of the rest of their life, it was the most satisfying part for me. The best advice that I ever received from a fellow coach or a mentor was don't overcoach. let the athletes do what they're capable of. You've done your job during practice. Don't overcoach them the day of the meet because it's too much for them to think about and things like that.
I think he deserves induction into the Hall of Fame just because he's given his whole life to sports and youth, and especially to cross country and track. He still lives it to this day. So I think that he's inspired thousands of coaches and athletes, and I don't see anyone more fit to be in the Hall of Fame.
A letter from a parent about Coach Mills. I honestly believe that running has been one of the most positive experiences in my son's life. The friendships and relationships he has developed with boys and girls, not only from Boise High School, but other schools in the area, are meaningful and long-lasting. The practice, dedication, and knowledge which you so ably lend to coach these kids is commendable. I'm grateful beyond words for the guidance, coaching, tempered with your ever-present emotion and sense of humor, which you have expanded on my son's behalf. I'm also grateful for the wonderful example of motivation, perseverance, and for the genuine caring qualities he sees you demonstrate. Thank you for all the rides home, for all the pizza, the spaghetti dinners, for all those hours you helped him on your computer. Thank you for all the interruptions and invasions of your privacy when he dropped in, and for the countless other ways you put up with him. My son's a better person because of his association with cross country and track. But most of all, he's a better person because he has seen the fine examples set by you as his coach and his friend. I'll always be grateful. And so for that, I just want to congratulate David and his family for a great career and being selected into this prestigious Hall of Fame, something he'll cherish for the rest of his life. So way to go, David.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is to save every day till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you. If I could make days last forever, if words could make wishes come true, I'd save every day like a treasure, and then again I would spend them with you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. I've looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time with.
Presenting the award is Ty Jones and board member Sean Teagues. Ladies.
Yeah, I think I bit the under because I'm trying now already, so. I can't tell you how honored I am by this award. It's something for a kid who had two alcoholic parents and was mostly raised by teachers and coaches. This means a lot to me because I know it's coming from other teachers and coaches. So it's a real honor. I want to thank so many people. And Julie and Ty kept telling me 5 minutes, 5 minutes, all you get is 5 minutes. Well, I'll tell you right now, it ain't gonna be 5 minutes. I'll be close though. I got a stopwatch someplace. I think it's in my pocket. I am a track coach. It was in my blood a long time ago. Running and sports was my escape from the things that I had to live through as a child. And so to get this award, once again, I'll say it again, I began my career here in Boise in August of '73. And Farley, that was 1973, not 1873. I could have never imagined that I would someday be inducted into this Hall of Fame. And to paraphrase Groucho Marx a bit, any group that wants me as a member, I have to wonder a little bit about. I was always the last kid picked in schoolyard games. My high school class voted me most likely to fail. Although I got over it, and I had the last laugh on my entire class because I graduated 1 year prior to every single member of my class. And I had a lot of them that went to Stanford and all sorts of other places, so that's pretty good. Running and coaching have been, they've saved my life. They really have. I lived in the Bay Area until I came here, and I probably would have been in San Quentin or out on Pleasant Valley Road. I didn't run with a bad crowd because they didn't want to run, but it really saved my life. My college coach, the guy that really got me going this way, was Jim Santos. And there might be a person or two in this crowd that knows Jim Santos because his very first teaching and coaching job was at Emmett High School. Farley, you knew him, right? Yeah. Jim really wasn't all that inspiring a guy, but he kind of inspired me. Jim went on to be one of our Olympic coaches. Sadly, it was for the 1980 team. He was a great coach. He was a great mentor to me. And he would always introduce me when I went to big track meets around the nation. He would always introduce me. This is David. He was my little steeplechaser. Now, I'm not little now, but I certainly was then. And so when I came here, when I was on my way here, he said, David, you'll never come back to the Bay Area. You're going to go to Boise and you'll never come back. And I didn't believe him then, but I've been here ever since and would never return. Like all of us, I have a lot of people to thank. First of all, I have to thank my wife, Claudia. Claudia and I, this is our second time around. And I don't know if she really knew what she was getting into when she and I got married. But she's always been a great fan and a steadfast supporter of my team and teams. I can't thank you enough, dear. Thank you so very much. My children, Heather and Brian, they've been my greatest fans for a long time. And there's so many times I took them to the track and made them wait in my car. We were laughing about it today because I go to McHugh's or Idaho Sporting Goods to do an errand, and the poor kids would have to sit in the car, or sit in the truck, and a lot of times. Or for Heather, how many times I forgot to pick her up at East Junior High as she's waiting for me after her practice for me to pick her up. So that happened a lot. The thing was, we always enjoyed camping together, and they always enjoyed me ordering pizza whenever I overcooked the macaroni and cheese. Even though I got to be Heather's coach, two of my greatest memories of her, when she got her first paycheck from Idaho Mountain Touring and wanted to know who the hell that FICA guy was that she had to pay. I think we all still kind of get mad about that FICA guy. The other wonderful memory of her was when she was being wheeled out of the delivery room, and she had just given birth to my granddaughter and her daughter, Kendra. And she reached up to me and she said, Dad, I'm a mom. And it chokes me up still, and it will for a long time. As you saw that picture, those pictures of Brian when he got home from Iraq, that was the most traumatic period of my life I've ever spent. Every day wondering if he was going to come home. He was a corpsman in the Navy. And so if those of you that have been in the military know, If you're with the Marines, you're a Marine. They stuck a gun in his hand and he went through the doors just the same as the Marines did. How many retired or military people do we have here? Can you raise your hand? Thank you so much for your service. I have a son-in-law over there, Patrick, who's retired from the National Guard, Army National Guard, and still works for them out at Gowan Field. My son, of course, you know, and so the military has a real special place in my heart. I spent a year, or actually a season at West Point, getting to be a coach at West Point for a season, and special place, special people. I also want to thank my wife's children, Jessica and Jacob. They have always been so supportive of me and of their mother through all the times that I left their mother to go coach. And that's a real special thing. And we're going to get to go. We're leaving tomorrow for Portland to spend a week with them in Portland, camping on their farm, on Jacob's farm. And I know you won't believe this. I want to thank my ex-wife, Sue. She was really a great support to the runners, and I've got 4 of my former athletes over there, and know how much she has supported them. And she really supported them because she let them break into the house and steal cold pizza on a regular basis. I want to thank Jack Akery. He kept my fat out of the fire a lot of times over the 34 years I was with the Boise schools. I want to thank my principals that I had, Jack Craven, Blossom Turk, Gary Slee, who you heard, and Ken Anderson. They were great principals to be with. I really enjoyed my time with them. My athletic directors, Jim Weimer, who some of you may know, Terry Beck, I know you all know, Rich Gagnon, and I'm going to talk a bit about Rich in a moment, and then Tracy Lyman. Tracy and I bucked heads a lot of times, but the one thing we bucked heads over was always about kids. And she was a great, and is a great supporter of kids, and I appreciate my time with you. Thank you, Tracy. I had 2 other fantastic women on my staff. Vicki Vega, who was our athletic trainer, and Christy Hultquist, who was actually a volunteer, but she was a physical therapist at Idaho Sports Medicine, and she was with our program and really helped us a lot of years. And Nikki's still an athletic trainer at Boise High, and Christy now coaches the hurdlers in track. My assistant coaches, Dan Stevens, Jenny Tobin, Sarah Wright, Pat Charlton, I think a few of you know Pat, Tony English, Rod Darren, and Brian Barber. And Brian Barber's here tonight. Thank you guys. You guys did a great help and really helped. I trained by Brian to be an athletic director, you know, because he went through all the knucklehead things I did as a coach. I want to give really special thanks, and sadly she's not here tonight, to Kathy Olson, my assistant, who was my longtime assistant. She really did a lot of things, and her husband Craig, they were real help to me for a lot of ups and downs that we went through. I want to thank Tim Sevra. You heard him there. He and I were the meet directors and really kind of the founders of the Bob Furman meet. And those of you that know Bob, we wanted to name it after him because to honor him for all the things that he did. And so Tim and I did that, and for it to become one of the best and biggest cross-country meets in the nation meant a lot to us and means a lot to us. Tim, I hope Tim, as soon as he's eligible, is up here on this podium as well. I don't think anybody in this community or throughout the state has given as much as he has to running and to kids at Bora and through the Boise YMCA and the Team Idaho. And I know a lot of you that have been involved with track know all the things that Tim has done. I have 4, not young men anymore, but 4 men that I had the privilege of coaching throughout their time at Boise High that are here, that I wanted them to stand up. Will, Ted, Ed, and Eric, would you please stand up? Those guys gave more rides to my children, to all sorts of things that any person would have to do. They took my car one time and I told them not to go around corners very fast, and they poured 15 gallons of lemonade all in the back of my car. So I won't say who they were, Ed. So there's a guy missing from that group that I'm going to talk about too here in a couple minutes. There are 4 very special people that aren't here tonight and aren't with us at all anymore, that we're all connected in one way or another with Boise High and with Boise High track and field and cross country. The first one that I'll mention, I know a lot of you know, and that's John Keith Carlton. He was the ever-ready bunny, if anybody know him. The things that he would do for us at Boise High in getting t-shirts, he was the guy that did the Beat Boris shirts, as you know. He was the guy that at Christmas time and the holidays would go out and do a quote-unquote turkey sale fundraiser for his teams. And most of the fundraising was done by Keith, because he would buy most of the turkeys and give them away to families and people throughout the north end of Boise. The next person is a guy that I really miss a lot as well, and that's Rich Gagnon. And I know all you football guys knew Rich really well. We lost Rich not all that long ago. His country witticisms and the things that he said when he talked about, there's some things that just aren't PG that I really can't share, but he kept me in stitches so much of the time. He was a delight to have on the track staff when I was the head coach, because he knew absolutely nothing about track and field. He just knew that whoever crossed the finish line won the race, and that was about it. But he worked his tail off, and he was a great guy to be around. The third person wasn't a teacher or a coach at Boise High anyway. He taught at Boise State for a lot of years, and some of you may know him. He was a parent of one of our runners, we by accident at the state cross-country meet in Coeur d'Alene one year, we're walking away, and we had won both the boys and girls that day, and he was patting me on the back and all that, and I said, and he was talking about the Bay Area, and I said, John, where did you go to high school? And he says, well, I went to Homestead. I said, what years? And John was the same age as I am, and we discovered that we had run against each other in high school, and John Freemuth, if those of you know him, John has probably done more for outdoors for the state of Idaho than 10 people together. He was as much responsible for some of the legislation for the Owyhees so that all the multi-users could use it. The same thing in the White Clouds. He was an assistant for a long time and a person with Governor Cecil Andrus. And John was just a wonderful, wonderful man, and I was so privileged to know him. And then finally, a teammate of those 4 guys, Dr. Alan Herr. Alan ran for me for this 4 years, went to Pacific Lutheran, became an All-American in the steeplechase, as 3 of those gentlemen over there are as well. One of them not in the steeplechase, but in the 800. Alan was a doctor of physiology and but did research at the University of Washington. He sadly died after a 9-year battle with lung cancer, a lung cancer that was very, very rare. He did a lot of things on it, and I know those 4 guys feel the same way I do. Talk about courage. That was courage personified, the courage that he showed, the grace that he showed throughout that battle with cancer, and I can't thank him enough for myself showing me that courage that he went through. I am from Concord, Massachusetts. That's where I was born. My great aunt was Louisa May Alcott. And when my mother passed away, my sister and I took her ashes to be buried on what people will know is Sleepy Hollow. If you know about Ichabod Crane, Sleepy Hollow is an actual cemetery in Concord, Massachusetts. And not less than 10 feet away from my mother's grave is Louisa May Alcott's grave. 10 feet away from that is Henry David Thoreau's grave. And 10 feet away from that is Ralph Waldo Emerson's, and 10 feet away to that is Nathaniel Hawthorne. So I want to leave tonight with something from Emerson. I've always kind of thought he was much more eloquent than I was. Finish each day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities have crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. You shall begin it serenely and with too high a spirit to be encumbered with your old nonsense. Thank you so very much. Thank you to the board. Farley, thanks for nominating me. I appreciate it. Thank you.